Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buried. We are in chapter 3. It is dark and spooky out right now, and we are following Marcus into what I can only describe as the control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the Operations Center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. "Where's the first aid kit?" I snap at him. Marcus stops in his track as if he's forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. "Oh yeah," he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault that he's opened. It's much larger than it looked from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around for one of the folders slips open. For the split second it's open, I see a scanned document and a color photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body, as if it's been turned inside out. There's also massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet colored fluid that, while rather pretty in color, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. "Come on," I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt, and then over his shoulder as the dry blood holds it in place. And then over his shoulders as the... Oh, his shirt over him, dumb. It's fine. The mirror act causes him to grimace. "This might hurt a little," I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. We're just gonna do it slow and gentle. I lift the shirt off gently and it makes a sucking sound. There's so much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled to him. Dennis lets out a little moan but seems relaxed in spite of his injuries. With the shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries becomes more clear. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over to Marcus hopefully and ask, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening to the monitors to be of any help anyways. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood away as I can. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. "Be honest," Dennis says hopefully. "How bad does it look? You think I'll live?" "It looks real bad, bud." "Well, don't sugarcoat it," Dennis says. He looks defeated but not really surprised. I keep quiet because I feel like I've already said enough. "Was that bad?" He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape. Then I reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. I'm a goner. This was a waste of time. His whole body deflates as he says this. Maybe I should have been a little more encouraging, but I don't see the point in lying to him. I look back at Marcus and he's looking back at us, deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't let him off so easy. "Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility?" I asked him. "If there's something better, I don't know about it," he says. I notice that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change to his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that was frightening him, more than he already was before. "What is it?" I ask. "What's wrong?" His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I cannot comprehend hidden in the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upward. A single message is flashing underneath. It reads unexpected power failure for an entity. Another message trickling along the bottom of the black screen says safety locks on, level 3 containment doors engage. Override? I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from somewhere else in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were just in a few moments ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What happened? I have no idea. I didn't see it. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What? There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing that he's already said too much. And as bad as it is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spikes to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's a logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him, a few punches and a shove against the wall. Nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. But I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. That's messed up. I figure since he's just an IT guy, I can probably intimidate him. I grab Marcus by the collar of his shirt and point to the screen. Why have you been spying on my crew? I shout. It was part of my job, mine and a few others. Your queue has been watched over since you started to set up your equipment. Why? Marcus tries to draw up some anger of his own, but isn't as toxic as mine. Still, I know there's a fight on my hands if I want one. Because, he says, your logging site was set up less than a mile away from an entrance to a highly classified government facility. How the hell was I supposed to know that? I scream at him. Where are the signs and the guards? Marcus gives me the same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he said. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property, the timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? He shakes his head and exhales. Like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces, we just track bodies and names. Look, Marcus said. All of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I checked, though. I can tell. He is starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. I'd tell you if I did, okay? Or are they inside the facility? You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus puts his hands up defensively. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. But the lower levels don't have cameras, classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything. Probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than Black Ops. What does that mean? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own government because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't. Not at all. But I don't want him to know that. You said there are 36 employees. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power fail and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't. Oh, God, Dennis says. I look over to him, and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up, and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site, but more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and Tony's crushed body several feet away from it, where I'd pulled him out. Crap. The fact that his death seems abstract, almost like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, but it's different actually seeing him. Dang it. Suddenly, something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis. After revisiting Tony's death all over again, someone just ran by the door and told him hopefully it's someone who can help us. You gonna be okay? I'm fine. Go see who it is. Giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him and head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out into the second level hallway. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are now all on. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doors and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I can see the fleeting motion of something dark, cutting quickly to the left down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. Shout at them. I feel like if you're vocal, it's okay. Hey, stop, who's there? I get no response and I'm unsure if I should be relieved or upset about this. The last person we met nearly killed me with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about her sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, and you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. We want some answers. She laughs nervously and it echoes loudly in the barren hallway. Don't we all, she said. I have a friend back there in the command center who needs medical attention, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what's happening? From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she said, but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened, and she trails off there, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy said. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center and see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you, anyway? I quickly give her my story. A logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus said. This was a freak accident, and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all of the questions that are pulling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. I decided that despite my curiosity, I needed to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? Probably, Amy said. But you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? At this moment, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone had struck her from behind. Gone, she said. Some were killed and some were just, I don't know, they disappeared right in front of me. Yeah. They were here 1 second and gone the next, just gone. Something's wrong with us, Amy said. Something's here with us. Wow, okay. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? I don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access, I ask? No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Okay, let's go. It's not that easy, Amy said, looking again to my rifle in hand. Why not? Like I said, some things came through when the power went out. There's several of them all roaming the 3rd level. All I know is that the others refer to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus said, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, it was crazy. This is insane. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said, I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy said. The Barksdale's on the 3rd floor and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioned look, and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. This is not a good idea. I mean, can't me and Dennis just leave? Like, why do we have to stick around? We enter the command center and I'm happy to see Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get you some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands on his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy said. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. I mean, I think they melted people, so never mind, she says. Come on, we just need to be careful. Great. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement. And the 4 of us exit to the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look behind at the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site and feel a pang of sorrow. And then I look to the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us is like a physical presence. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it is something of a relief for her to finally get off her chest. There's been a lot of work on the project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there are any real viable science behind point-to-point instantiation. Like teleporting? Oh my god. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis said. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he's mocking the idea, but he fails. He's scared. Not at all. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Doesn't sound like they did. About 6 months ago, we successfully made the same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that needed to tweak in order to make the progress completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. I understand. Okay. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping and deconstructing a subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly? Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, basically. And because of that, we are trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Other worlds, other Tegmark universes where our laws of nature don't apply, she says, not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset, you guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all of this. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I am impressed, but that's insane. Why do you think this place is such a secret? Why do you think it's so well hidden? She's right. There are a few things that take place here that make sci-fi movies look like a kid's TV show. I shake my head. It's then that I realize it's not that I don't believe them, it's that I'm trying my hardest to convince myself that they are insane. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't know words, it's fine. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time, I've been working for he laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. It's not that I don't believe or whatever, it's just like, it is insane. They're doing something crazy. I mean, if this were happening, like, in life right now, the area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeably than that is all the blood. I've never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus said, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy said, as if the explanation makes it all better. No research you all do down here could be worth this. We have to get moving, or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I am beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence on level 3, and Amy's talk of lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. I have a gun. 4 of us start walking ahead with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks like 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies looks as if they've been fused together. Another man looks to have had his leg welded to the floor. I can see the man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. Let's just keep moving. Ugh. It's simply too much. Worse than that is the fact that we have just started our journey through level 3. If there is worse waiting up ahead, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Dennis steps up beside me, and when he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone, he asks. The things I saw, Amy answers, they do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she's visibly shaken. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling through trying to process. I thought let's go. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed, it's been physically altered in the way that makes no sense. The girders look like they have been warped, their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is a standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says, taking a deep breath. I was the closest to the exit, so I just started running. But it was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. People's bodies just started twisting and turning. And the thing that did this, it looked like she doesn't finish. She's cut off by some sound echoing through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio. That's what Dennis heard. But there's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? I ask. Instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I see he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. How far away are they? About 100 meters. Not far. Everyone seems to take this as the cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. Close, she says. It's just at the end of the hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the pressure of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. This is crazy. I don't want to die. Okay, it's okay. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it was designed to only be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area? I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says, but at the end there is the maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hall extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin, I see what looks like a large metal door further ahead. I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? 3. That's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Dennis asks. Yeah, what are we dealing with? I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Monsters, that's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always says that I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar's doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right there, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it close behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus said. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if those doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangar now. I think putting something between us is a good idea. Damn it. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the hallway wall for a groove. Dennis and I start feeling as well. A minute passes, then I see a small metal frame that runs from the floor to the ceiling. Is that it? I ask. Yes, Amy says. I look to the floor and see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say. Amy, Dennis, and I start pulling as hard as we can, but it barely budges an inch. Behind us, that static noise rings out again. My heart seems to stutter, and Marcus lets out a little whine. Running out of time, we need to go. Those things are getting closer every second. If you would help, it will make a difference, he said. We shut up and help us, and then we'll find out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan as we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and then begins moving steadily. Once we get it started, it slides easily. As we near the wall closing off the hallway behind us, I think I can see the merest sight of an odd illuminating shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slightest thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns to lock into place. Great, now let's haul ass, Marcus says. We all turn and get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospects. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost like they are calling out to one another. The doors to the hangar sit up ahead, like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. That looks closed, which makes sense, but how are we going to open that? When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy says. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center. You need to overwrite from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center is on the 2nd floor, I ask. Yeah. It's where we were. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding? We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If we want to get into the hangar, we have to go back to the command center. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we'll need to go through biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest. You 2 go, you know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, but we'll need to be armed. I'll give Amy the gun. I don't trust Marcus with that. I handed Amy the rifle and she turns to go. Marcus gives me a concerned look but follows along behind her. Once Amy and Marcus have made a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were 2, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors? Yeah, I think so. Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead to see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, and find that it's locked. Push with shoulder. I give it a hard shove, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again. That's when I hear a gunshot from down the hall. My first thought is that Amy and Marcus have come upon one of those things, one of the monsters, but I don't hear any of that strange static sound I've come to associate with them. Alarm bells go off in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back. I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the doors to where Amy and Marcus went. Oh, snap! What did they do? Well, this is fun. This is nice. Blood. Lovely. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out of the intersection of halls up ahead. I think I overhear a voice, a woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop. Let go of the gun. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take her gun away. When this doesn't work, he throws her onto the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple, and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if what he was doing was perfectly fine. Stop him. Get him off. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose, and am rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches at her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that I was a moment too late, just as I see the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact same moment I do. He's gonna beat us to it if I just chase him. I deliver a surprisingly strong blow with my right hand, clipping his chin from my awkward position. I'm in the process of planting a knee in his chest to hold him down when his left foot comes out of nowhere, landing hard. The kick catches me squarely in the ribs, knocking me out of breath. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us all. This was all her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just attack her when we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private, and then what? What would he have done? Would he have done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human that I'd underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor, and start wrestling for possession. But I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I don't want to be in. I start pushing back hard. But if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure what I'd rather prefer a bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. As I grunt, I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he is literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from its grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he said. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look at Amy and I wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she is managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it's like to... He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully. I have to react fast. I don't want to kill him if I don't have to. His aim is poor and his strength is failing, so I dodge him easily. I don't want to have a gunshot go off and alert those creatures to where we are. Make a hard jab of the butt of the rifle, striking him in the chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. He crumples for a moment and then goes to his knees. He roars in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil along with everyone involved, he wails from the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy as well as towards me for stopping him makes me think that he'll deliver on this threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us, but I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. I don't want to. I just don't think I can complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes tight and squeeze the trigger. A muzzle bursts. I hear Marcus crumple to the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus' body and instead lean down towards Amy. You okay? She nods slowly. Have to go. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We start forward and then I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, he said. You need to come with me to the command center now. We'll be back for him soon. I stare at Marcus' dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. It is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from. There's no time to weigh it now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static sound rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator that she mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus' body, motionless. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise sounds off. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of recordings I've heard of whale songs. A sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door I came in through. They've reached the hydraulic door we pulled, Amy says, confirming what I'm thinking. The sound grows louder, and it's clear they're struggling with it. Which is good, we have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously, but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely the result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring down at her as he tried to deliver her death. How is she still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus. It's not your fault. At least you handed me the gun. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. We both keep our eyes fixed straight ahead. Better to stay focused. We finally came to the elevator at the end of a row of silos. The elevator door slides open easily. At that moment, we hear something behind us, a strangled sort of whistling sound. We step inside and turn around to face the biochem room. Thankfully, we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide close again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent-like white glow outlines an impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape that's also entered the biochem room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with eerie speed. They are heading in the direction of Marcus' body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the buttons to close the elevator doors over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these damn doors. We can't go anywhere, I figure, so no use in hiding. I take a step and stand firm in the elevator doorway. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape, and their colors, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They are gray and white, and they seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but they use them to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so. But I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of their moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they're moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that make a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect on the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see that the ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm going to have to be choosy. I don't think we need to shoot him yet. They keep advancing even though I know the doors may not close in time. I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if the gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and crawls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping these creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar door where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. Holy crap. Okay. What a chapter. That's insane. This is crazy. That was a super long chapter. I imagine they're not going to be shorter, but let's see our stats. Only 41% of people told Dennis his prognosis was grim. Only 35% of players sided with Amy to pull the hydraulic door. 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. 42% of players killed Marcus. 68% of players conserved your bullets for later. It feels like I did everything wrong on this one, but I mean, it is what it is, man. If you guys did other stuff, if you guys had different experiences, if you guys let Marcus live, how did that bite you? Because I know it would have. Like, that's the only reason I would have done that. So let me know what you guys think of this. If you like it, and if you want more, subscribe. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.